Hey guys, welcome back to MFO. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about power pole maintenance. And I've got a tip for you that I don't think even a lot of pros know about when it comes to taking care of your power poles. As you can see, we're here in the slop and we've been fishing a lot of frog kind of stuff and punching and things like that. But today we're going to talk about how to take care of those power poles, make sure that they're working properly when you need them, because this is the kind of fishing where I'm constantly putting those poles up and down in this shallow, mucky kind of water. So guys, stick around, you're going to want to hear this. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher, and today, like I said, we're going to talk about power pole maintenance, things you need to do to make sure that your power poles are running properly. And like I said, there's one of these tips that I'm going to talk about in just a minute that I don't know that even a lot of pros know about. So as you can see, we're working in this shallow, grassy kind of stuff. It's got all sorts of muck on the bottom, and it's just very weed choked and things like that. And so one of the things that I'm going to do in just a minute is show you a quick and easy way to make sure that this debris doesn't clog up on your poles. So give me 1 second, and when we come back, I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So what I'm going to do is, now that I'm out here in open water, I'm just going to lower my poles and basically I'm going to take those poles and dunk them into the deeper water, even though I'm in water that the poles won't reach all the way down to the bottom. And I'm really just going to, as I'm dragging along, as I'm kind of idling along here, I'm going to drag those poles, but the poles aren't, like I said, they're not touching the bottom, and all that's doing is kind of rinsing any debris, any muck, any mud off of those poles. And every once in a while, that's something that I want to do just to kind of keep that gunk off of them. And then once I'm done doing that, I can raise them up. And they'll be clean, there won't be weeds on them or anything like that. Now there's one more maintenance tip that I want to show you, but we're going to do that when we put the boat back up on the trailer. So hang on and we'll get to that in just a second. So guys, the second tip that I was going to tell you about, I told you I was going to do once we got off the water, and that has to do with all of your nuts and bolts that hold on your power poles onto the boat. What I do, quite honestly, guys, is if I've made a long trip, let's say I'm going from, Illinois down to Florida or over to New York or Tennessee or anything like that, what I'll do is, after I've made that trip, I'll get a 9/16 wrench out and tighten up all of those bolts, or at least check them. There's a lot of times when I get to the VRBO house that I'll put that wrench on them and they're just fine. But I want to check them and make sure, because you never know whether or not those bolts are going to loosen up from just being used and things like that. And so you want to tighten them up and check them. The nice thing is that if you've got a 9/16 wrench, you're fine. Every bolt that you need to check on power poles is, since I think 2012, if I've got that year correct, I'm not sure I do, but they're always 9/16. So you got a 9/16 box wrench or open end wrench, you can check those wrenches and you're good to go. So guys, make sure you take care of your power poles. When you're in that deep water, if you think about it, I know deep water is not a time when you think about power poles, but put those poles down, let those poles kind of soak and rinse off. Make sure all the mud and debris is off of them. Check those bolts every once in a while, and you'll be in good shape. Bar pulls are such an important tool when we're out fishing. Make sure they're running right. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.